Hey, there's not going to be an entrance here. Let's just get to it. Yesterday, a sorry son of a bitch decided he was going to attack a church. He took an assault rifle into a church and started shooting it up. This happened in Sutherland Springs, Texas, right outside of San Antonio. 26 are dead, 30 at least 30 are injured. People as young as 5 are victims of this attack. So apparently the daughter of the pastor of the church, who happened to be out of town, apparently died in this attack as well. But I'm not sure what to do here. Because really, at the end of the day, we don't seem to want to do anything to stop these attacks. We haven't done anything to stop them. So I'm at a loss at what we can actually do in this country to try to stem the tide on this. But part of the issue we have going on here is the fact that, one, according to the FBI, he would have had no reason not to be able to possess the firearm, according to what they had to say. And when he filed for, the background check, he had no disqualifying, things on his record. Although I did see over on another article that I had found that apparently, due to his the way things went in the military for him, as where he was sent discharged from the military over behavior, stemming from a court martial where he had been court martialed for beating his wife and kid, that he was confined for 12 months and then subsequently discharged from the military after that. And some are saying that should have disqualified him from being able to own a firearm. I don't know if this is true. I have not been able to find any information to confirm this. That's why I will stick with the FBI and what they're saying and what their law enforcement representatives are saying at this current juncture, because I do not have any other location to find any proof, and I don't really want to sit here and speculate over what happened. But I want to give you a quick rundown of the things that took place here that led to these 26 people being killed. Some, there's lots of people. There were kids part of the dead, like I said. But this asshole showed up at roughly around 11:30 in the morning, in the middle of the church service. He walked across the street. He had been over at a Valero and then walked across the street from there, and shot up the church. He entered the church and continued shooting. And at one point, he exited the place, the church. Now, the shooter is identified as 26-year-old Devin Patrick Kelly, according to a law enforcement source who does not want to be identified because they were not allowed to speak on the issue, but they went ahead and gave the name anyway. Apparently, he purchased this gun, which they are calling a Ruger AR-556 rifle. Please don't crucify me in the comments below on that. I'm just reporting what I'm finding. I am not a gun guy. I do not know things about guns, so please, let's just keep this for what it keep this about what it is. These 26 victims, and like I said, he was a member of the U.S. Air Force. He was military. He was stationed in New Mexico from 2010 until he was discharged in roughly 2014. It says right here that he was court-martialed in 2012 for assault of his spouse and assault on his child. He served a year in prison and received a bad conduct discharge in 2014. Of course, Donald Trump did respond, and I've been very critical of Donald Trump, but I think his words here are right. He condemned the shooting as an act of evil. He called it horrific. And the president is currently in Japan, keeping a watch on things from over there. But hopefully we'll find out why. There's a lot of speculation on what this guy was, who he was, what he was about. But I'm not going to speculate on any of that until we have confirmed proof of that. But what I do know is 26 people are dead. But we do have a hero to talk about. Now, I do not have his name, but a man grabbed his gun after he heard the shooting over at the church. He grabbed his gun and went and confronted the shooter as the shooter tried to exit the church. They had a short little firefight between the two of them, and at the end of it, the guy dropped his gun and ran to his car and drove off like the little coward and chicken shit that he is. Well, was. He was later found dead at the end of that chase. Now, what happened was the guy confronted him. There was an exchange of gunfire, and I firmly support self-defense and defense of other people, and so that is what your Second Amendment rights are for, in my opinion. But after the guy tried to run off in his car, the guy jumped in a truck with somebody and drove off, and they chased the guy. They chased the guy down until he crashed. At which point, the guy with the rifle stepped out and basically, I guess covered the car to make sure that that he wasn't getting out. He asked him to get out of the car to make sure he wasn't, trying to run away or anything. But apparently, when the police arrived, they found him dead of a gunshot wound. They were not 100% sure if that was a gunshot wound from him or a gunshot wound from the guy who was trying to help the people at the church. If you ask me, the citizen took it upon himself to help save people when there was nobody else around to help them. And I got to give the guy all sorts of credit for helping these people, because it's reported that there were other weapons in his car. This guy could have gotten out to his car if nobody else had been around, grabbed another firearm, and re-entered the church and continued shooting, or started shooting the people as they exited the church, trying to get away. But this stuff has got to stop. I don't care who he was, his background, if he was a part of anything. All I know is 26 Americans now lay dead because of some jackass with a gun. Now, I'm not saying we should get rid of guns, but I'm saying we've got to do something. This guy obviously had a violent streak to begin with, or else he wouldn't have been court-martialed and stuff for assaulting his wife and child. This guy was a piece of shit to start with, and he's even more of a piece of shit for what he did yesterday. And I know YouTube's gonna freaking ban this video and stuff. You're not gonna be able to watch it for very long because I said shit. Oh no. But this has to get out there. The fact is, this has got to stop. We cannot keep killing each other. This is insane. Just to see the stuff that is going on in this country drives me crazy. I don't know what the answer is. I've been racking my brains for years trying to figure out what the answer is to these problems. If you have any solutions, please leave them down below. Because I know some are going to say, we need more God. Well, a lot of people that do these go to church. Do the shootings actually go to church. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily the solution. But maybe it could help change a few people's, heart. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I do believe in a higher power. And I do believe that higher power could reach people and convince them not to do this. I think people have a lack of love in their hearts in this country. They don't seem to care about their neighbor. They don't care about their fellow Americans. And some of these people clearly don't care about their fellow Americans, or they would not be murdering them like this. This is insane. I know others are going to be like, oh, but what about Chicago where they shoot themselves all the time? I'm like, that's the same thing, in my opinion. Any loss of life, any senseless loss of life is just ridiculous. It is not necessary. There was no need for this guy to go to this rural community in the middle of nowhere of 700 people maybe, and then open fire on a small church. I don't care his reason. I don't care if he was a part of some group. Although the FBI has ruled out any connection of him with any organized terror group. Now, I don't know what else to say on this, but I commend the man who took it upon himself, who risked his life to try to help save as many people as he could over at that church by engaging the shooter. And that's how we do things in Texas. I can tell you that right now. You're going to try and pull some bullshit like this, you're going to get shot. That's what we do. I may not be a gun nut. I may not care for guns. I may not have them. But I know for a fact that if I go somewhere and something like this goes down, somebody is going to have a firearm and somebody is going to put the fucker down. This is it's just horrific. I think Donald Trump's words put it perfect. Horrific. And you guys know me. Those of you that have been watching my videos, I am not a fan or a supporter of Donald Trump. But I believe he has handled this. His words, at least, have been on par for what they should be. And I believe he is genuinely upset. I mean, who could sit there and watch 26 people be gunned down and not be affected by that? Anyhow, please pray for Texas. Pray for Sutherland Springs. Pray for the families. And I have nothing else. That's all I got.